Right, you're very welcome back. Now, this week, Ireland wants to support local by spotlighting small businesses affected by the extreme weather conditions we have over the last 2 months.
As we said before, we're all affected by it, but it's, a joke and we've got a down mood, but some people's livelihoods are at stake here. And telling us what happened at their businesses this morning, we were joined by Brian Roberts from Waterside Guesthouse and Restaurant in Graignamanagh and Darrell Johnson from Buíoch Irish Chocolates in Selbridge. Plus, we've got consumer journalist Sinead Ryan here with us as well. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Now, Brian, Graignamanagh is an area that we know and love well from Edward Hayden, yes. But it is an area that we hear about flooding all of the time. You've been flooded how many times in your guest house?
Well, we're there 28 years,
yeah.
But we've been flooded. This is the 5th time we've been flooded now. So.
OK, and how was it this time for you?
It wasn't the highest flood we've ever had, but it looks like it's done the most damage from my own business. And we were discussing, myself and my wife, whether I should actually come in my work clothes, wear a pair of waders coming here today, because
this is
we're getting used to it.
This is the restaurant.
Yeah, that's here. Water inside the restaurant 2 weeks ago there.
Okay.
Came in on a Tuesday, went out on a Wednesday, back in on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, second time. And what happened is our whole floor has cracked. Water coming up underneath. How it's getting in there, we don't know, but it just came up and cracked our floor.
This is the 5th time this has happened. How do you get back up on your feet again?
Well, we're used to it. As I say, I tend not to get emotional about it anymore. The first time was very traumatic, and then it becomes part of the business and whatever. So we have a system. In the winter, we close, we lift everything, whatever. But I didn't think the floor could actually come up. So this is something I haven't faced before, and this is going to be expensive. And my problem now is I'm waiting to get open. And people have rooms booked, flights booked, they're coming in. I need to dig out that floor and put in a new floor and repair and get ready to go.
You have to dig out a new floor.
Yeah.
OK, so this is the worst that it's been for you. And we'll get around to how you're doing in relation to insurance and what the government have in place. Because, Darrell, in your situation, this is something in Graignamanagh that has been happening to Brian for a long, long time. For you, new business, and this was in Selbridge. What happened with your unit?
So I came in Friday morning and I opened the door and had a look in, and I just seen leaves floating at the second step, and I was like, oh, that looks weird. Put the light on and I could just see it. The whole place was under 1.5 foot of water. All I could do, really, just kind of had a laugh. Went across the road, had a coffee, just chilled out for half an hour, rang the landlord and kind of waited to see take stock and see what I could do. Went and got a water pump, pumped it all out, and took basically all the stock that was savable, anything above the waterline, ripped everything out, took all the machines out. They seem to be okay. And now it's an empty shell at the moment with a few shelves and stuff in it, and we're going to try dry it out and have to see how it goes.
And talk to us, was this due to flooding or was this just due to a leak and through the heavy downpour into the unit?
Initially, when I came in, we back onto the Liffey, okay? But there's a car park between our door and the River Liffey. It's about 30 metres long, I'd say, give or take. So the Liffey had actually burst its banks on the morning, but it had only come up a couple of metres and the footbridge was closed. So I thought it would come in from that.
Yeah.
But there was no evidence to say that the water had come in the front. After we drained it all out, we actually seen in the back right corner where the toilet is, the water was still coming in from the walls. And at that corner, at the bridge, there is a short, like a drainage short from where the water comes in off the street.
Right.
So what we're thinking is that got over flooded, came down, seeped down through the ground and seeped in through underneath the walls of the actual business. And I was only gone out of the place for less than 12 hours. Left at 7 o'clock on Thursday night, the place was fine. Came in at 8 o'clock that morning and it was under the water.
This is a new experience for you with your business, and Brian, you have been through this, and hearing people from Graignamanagh on the radio an awful lot who are just like, yeah, here we go again. But there's an idea for what we can do in certain areas, and one of them is how do you feel? Is there a flood wall that's meant to be introduced into Graignamanagh? Yeah,
Graignamanagh is a bit of a complex situation because there's two rivers, the Buíoch River and the Barrow River, and they're very different. Small river, the Buíoch, which flash floods, and those people on Main Street in Graignamanagh get hit very hard and never get a warning. On the Barrow, we kind of know it's a bigger river. But it comes up. There are actually only about 8 or 10 properties along the Barrow, and there is talk of a flood wall. Personally, I'd prefer pursuing the nature-based solutions, or actually insulating the individual buildings would be a lot cheaper. I don't mind if the road floods once every 5 years for the week. It's not a road to anywhere. It's just along the waterfront, if you like, and just protect the buildings. And it could be done quickly, I think, and efficiently. And I would prefer to see that myself. People have different views on that.
They do. And the nature-based flooding is what we were speaking about here just a couple of weeks ago, where they would let some fields, they could take them off farmers and let them flood further up the river, so as that they could relieve the flooding further down the river.
These are done in places in Yorkshire, Pickering in Yorkshire, and they're tried and tested methods. I'd like to see them do
all
that.
over Netherlands as well.
As well. Sinead, listen, from your point of view, obviously you're from Rathfarnham, there was flooding up there, but in terms of supports and schemes from the government point of view, what is being offered out to business owners?
Well, there are always kind of humanitarian aids in place when these huge events occur. We know now they're getting more common and they are worse than ever. So this year, and we're only 6 weeks into it, the government has introduced or tweaked an act that was already in place called the Emergency Humanitarian Flooding Scheme. I'm calling it the Storm Chandra Act because it was in light of that. So what they've done is they've increased the amounts that are available to small businesses with fewer than 50 employees who can't get flood insurance, because obviously if you have flood cover, that's where your first port of call is. So it allows an immediate €5,000 to be paid out within 1 or 2 days, just by sending a photograph and saying, this is what's happened my business. There's a further up to €100,000 available, but that takes time. An assessor has to come out. The damage has to be assessed in the same way that it would for an insurance company. And you then have to give your bona fides about your business, make sure that, it has been damaged to this amount, get your quotes, all that kind of thing. So as people like Brian, who was telling me earlier, he has applied for this, but it's going to take time. And in his case, you were saying that, in fact, your position is getting worse with the wait, because what you want to do is get in there and get it done. And the Red Cross and the local authority through which you apply for this scheme are saying, well, hold on, we have due process, which is fair enough. We want to make sure that we're paying out taxpayer money to the right people for the right things. So it is very slow. But the supports are there. They are more than they used to be. And I think every single business should apply for it. Of course, what people want to see is this not happening in the first place because of proper flood defences. Insurance companies use a system called geomapping for your house, for my house, and for businesses to say, these are floodplains, here's the bird's eye view of what we think will happen. And we're not going to provide insurance over here, or we're going to limit it over there. And they're protecting their business. But the problem is that you have places, and Rathfarnham is one of them, where I live, and I narrowly escaped all that flooding, thank goodness, but lots didn't, where one very small residents' association has held up the new flood defences that are due to come in. And that's true in other places around the country. You've got people saying, I don't like the look of them, I don't want them going there, they should be over there. And it shores up what should have been done 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, there's been so much talk about planning objections and everything in relation to this. Of course, places continually to be built on floodplains. We've seen that an awful lot. Brian, from you, can you get insurance?
No. The first time I did have flood insurance, the very first time, and it was like getting blood from a stone to get paid. That was actually the most traumatic experience I've had in business there in 28 years. But no, and that's why I have my flood plan, if you like, lifting everything up, because we look after ourselves and whatever. And what we really want to do now is get the door open and get people in there.
The cost of this for you, like you're a business. To rip up the floors is not an easy process.
No, it's not. The last flood we had, and we had no support for that. I costed afterwards. I reckoned it had cost us, in 2016, it had cost us €16,000. This time, it's multiples of that. Even though it was a lesser flood, the damage has been done.
More. And we all know with inflation.
Yeah, we're waiting, engineer, quantity surveyor, everything, to get a proper application in there. And what I'm not clear on is whether if they delay us with the assessor, whether we get covered for loss of trade if we're not open, which is going to cost me a hell of a lot if I don't get open. Greg Naman, I think it's an absolutely beautiful place. And what I really want is get open, get people down there in the summer, hill walking, canoeing, cycling, fishing. It's just a brilliant place to go, and it's a bit of a hidden Ireland, and it's become very popular in recent years.
That's
but we
a stunning
have to
part of
get
the
open.
world, but I know a number of businesses down there
Yeah.
as well. Darren, from your point of view, are you going to have to move location? Like, what's going to happen with your business?
Yeah, so I'm in the middle of trying to move anyway. Like, we are expanding, we're growing, we're doing well. But this has just put a setback now, because the biggest impact on me is going to be the loss of production over the next kind of week and a half until I figure something out or sort something out. Ideally, I'd like to move somewhere as quick as possible, but like, I don't know how realistic that's going to be.
And how was it for local businesses in the area? Like, I'm assuming that you're all chatting about what's going on. Everyone's trying to look to the future, but no one knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how has that been? Like, has there been the community support there, which I know it isn't great, but is everyone feeling the same?
Yeah. I think, to be honest, I was the worst affected by it. I was just unlucky this time around. And I think because it wasn't the actual river that burst its banks, because it came in off the drainage and the floodwater, it came in through the walls underneath. It really isolated and impacted me. But unfortunately, I don't trust where I am anymore. Like, I don't trust that building now, because when they done all the work to put the new drainage in, that's when all these problems kind of happened. And they started seeping in little by little over the last year. Like a week ago, it came in with about an inch of water underneath. We were like, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
But the landlord has been arguing with the county council to get them back out to fix it and to solve it. And you know how fun that can be, and how long a process that can be.
Sinead, quickly, just for people who have been affected, listen, there's so many all over this country. What would be your number one thing for people to do?
Don't hesitate to apply for this scheme. It is available through the Irish Red Cross or your local authority. There's application forms to download. Get your 5,000 immediately, and then apply for whatever you can get after that. The second thing is, if you have insurance, there's several different types. One is the buildings insurance that obviously Brian can't get, and some people will find it difficult to get. If you're a renter, that's your landlord, you're going to have to sort that out. So all these things have branches. The other type of insurance is business interruption insurance. And this is the one that provides for loss of profits rather than the bricks and mortar and the stock. And that's where you have to temporarily move premises, where you have to pay staff while you can't employ them, and for stock that you have lost.
Which is great if you can get it.
If you can get it, and it is very, very hard
Yeah.
to get. And of course, if you've had previous flood incidences, insurance companies are going to go, well, we can't help you here. And the knock-on effect of that then for businesses, even landlords who own the premises, is very significant.
Well, we know Easter's coming up, and do you know what Daryl has? He's got well, you have chocolate, don't you? He has got chocolate.
Does. Alan's robbing some
got
up
loads
there
of
now.
the
He's got
chocolate,
his hands right beside it.
over there. So we just want to do a shout out as much as we possibly can, because Daryl, we know that this has affected you, a few years in business. So fair play to you. That's Buíoch Irish chocolate. And do you know where else you could go during the summer? Edward Hayden never stops about it. You could go to Graignamanagh when it's all up, and this is the Waterside Guesthouse and Restaurant in Graignamanagh. Brian Roberts, look at it. Look how gorgeous it is. We really hope that you get that sorted, and we know that you go through this time and time again. And look at you, you still you have a smile on your face, Brian. Fair play to you.
Okay, we'll get going.
You will, of
Fair
course.
play. It's been a pleasure having you in. And Sinead Ryan, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
us. We
all.
really
Thank you.
appreciate it, guys.
And again, if your business has been affected, 0896 111 111, we're going to try to highlight this throughout the week as much as we can, so do get in touch with us.